Hi, my name is Ellie, and our group decided to research and present on hearing impairment and deafness, which is a low incidence disability. Now, when learning about hearing impairment and deafness, it is important to know that there are different things that can cause hearing impairment and deafness. One is the inner ear can suffer from auditory nerve damage. And second, it could be just because sound waves aren't reaching the inner ear. Auditory nerve damage often isn't reversible or able to be fixed in any way and just results in deafness. And sound waves that just aren't able to reach the inner ear can be because of earwax buildup, fluid in the ear, a pierced eardrum. But fortunately, if hearing impairment or deafness is being affected by things like that, it can often be treated by hearing aids, cochlear implants, special training, medication, and even surgery. Some classroom challenges to keep in mind are the acoustics in the classroom, which I found very interesting and something that I wouldn't have considered. And so it's really great that people have actually put a lot of thought and research into something like that. Something that was mentioned is the layout of the classroom and having students sit in a U shape. And this greatly helps students that have hearing impairments to be able to hear their fellow classmates as well as this teacher, instead of just sitting in a specific part of the classroom, usually the front, and only being able to hear a few people at a time and the teacher. And so that just really helps create communication with the whole class is sitting in that type of environment. There are wonderful medical advances going on today, as we are all aware. There is the National Institute of Deafness and Other Communication Disorders, and they help fund great research, and great progress is being made to help people that have hearing impairment and deafness disabilities. Some of those things are developing personalized text-to-speech synthesis systems, and they're even working on a synthesis system that can translate people's thoughts into speech, which is really wonderful. Because as we know, some people that gradually have hearing impairment issues or deafness, they usually can still speak for some time, but some speech issues might start to occur, or those that have been born with that or sometimes are never able to speak. And of course, things like ASL, American Sign Language, are ways that they communicate. Some wonderful support organizations worth mentioning are the Alexander Graham Bell Association for Deaf and Hard of Hearing, American Association of the Deaf and Blind, the American Society of Deaf Children, Beginnings for Parents and Children who are Deaf or Hard of Hearing, and the Children's Treehouse. Another, I guess they would be considered an organization, but I would love to mention the schools, the Helen Keller Schools for Deaf and Blind. I served my mission in Alabama and actually got to serve in Talladega, Alabama, where there is a significantly large campus for a Helen Keller School for the Deaf and Blind, and they also serve other special needs there. And it's just an uplifting environment. It's such a beautiful campus, and the students there truly are thriving. And it's so wonderful to know that we live in a day and age where there are great resources for students with those needs, and for teachers that especially wish to teach students with those needs, whether it be on a grand scale at a whole school that teaches just students like that, or whether you have a single student in your classroom that has those needs. Some resources that are available are ALDs, and that stands for assistive listening devices. And then there are AACs, and those are augmentative and alternative communication devices. So that would be like the type to speech things. Assistive listening devices are like hearing aids or cochlear implants, and also alerting devices, which are the loud or like the flashing lights that happen at crosswalks sometimes, and even and some just other like things that might have louder sounds for people that can still hear some sound but are hard of hearing. What I would love to end on is actually a quote from Helen Keller, and I thought this was just a great thing to share. Helen Keller said, "Blindness separates people from things, but deafness separates people from people." And so